Yo, what is good, everyone? Thank you for joining us today. Our first guest here is Kevin, aka SUREHYPER.
What's up, guys?
We're doing a little Rokcast, getting to know our players and asking some questions so you guys can get to know them better as well. So I guess I'll just start off with a very general question. Who is SUREHYPER?
Well, first, my name is Kevin Uros. I am Hispanic, half Costa Rican, half Nicaraguan. I was born and raised here. I grew up in Hialeah and eventually found myself here in Miami.
Nice.
And it's been fun ever since. I love all the people I've met here.
How long have you been here for?
I'd say like 5 years. Yeah, it's been a while since middle school. So like 2017, I think, is when I moved here. So it's been really nice. I'd say closer to 7 then.
Yeah, 7 years.
Yeah.
Time's going by quick.
Oh my God, yeah.
So tell me a little bit of how you got into competitive gaming, what game you play, and what your favorite characters are in that game.
Okay, well, I think it all started back in like elementary school. I saw my brother playing a lot of COD, and we would always, 1v1 each other. I had a little bit of a cheater in me because I would look at the top split screen.
Screen hacking?
Yeah, basically, yeah. And then eventually he got me onto Counter-Strike, and I just he kind of put in that competitive drive in me at a very young age, just like, yeah, you should try out this game. And I just immediately got so competitive, and that's kind of where the drive came from. And I just went from that, went to Fortnite, went to some racing games. I would go to this nearby Arcade Odyssey, and I would just race anybody who wanted to play.
Yeah, like Who Wants to Smoke?
Yeah, who wants to smoke,
Fast and Furious.
Of course.
Flips.
And then eventually I found myself in Smash. I've been playing Smash all my life with my family, my cousins and stuff. But at some point I was playing Ultimate, and I saw this, I was in history class and I saw this set, Zachary versus Light. And something about it, like the first game, Zachary did like a 3-stock comeback, and it just blew my mind the first time I saw it. And I immediately fell in love.
Yeah, it just like drew you more into the game.
And I right after watching that set, I just wanted to, learn everything about Smash, really. So I started playing all my friends. I started grinding to be the best out of my friend group. We'd play at lunch, like we'd sit under the stairwell and just grind it for an hour straight.
Yeah.
It was good times, and that kind of what jump-started my career, I guess. And then here I am now.
And it's funny that you mentioned Arcade Odyssey, because I believe that was like one of the main tournaments that you would go to when you first started off.
Yeah, what was that, 2019? The first tournament I ever entered was actually in July of 2019. So about, what was that, 4 years from now, 5 years from now? Yeah, so that was my first tournament I ever entered. I didn't do so good, but I kept coming back every other week just because I really wanted to get good at the game. And I'd come with my friends from high school. We would just raid it, and a lot of good memories in that place. It was so funny because the venue is just so packed, but there's just so much hype condensed in this one area that I just fell in love.
Yeah, on the way to the bathroom.
On the way to the, oh my God.
People couldn't even get to the bathroom in Arcade Odyssey just because all the Smash players, like 100 Smash players just in one little area.
Yeah.
Just blocking the way for everyone.
Yeah, getting to the bathroom was probably as intense as playing the game itself at Bracket. You have to crowd through, you're swimming through, I don't know, it's crazy. A whole swarm of people.
And the thing is, ROK was around there, but we're not gonna talk about that. ROK was around during that time, 2019, but
yeah,
the only thing you knew was Arcade Odyssey at the time. And
yeah, because I didn't know what tournaments really were. I'd always, because even before, because I would go to enter racing, go to arcade and play racing tournaments, right?
Yeah. And
one day I was my brother pointed out, oh, they do tournaments here. And that was back when, during Smash 4, I didn't have a actual GameCube controller like you do, like most pros use now.
Joy-Cons?
I play with Joy-Cons. But on the Wii U, they didn't even have Joy-Cons. So I used the actual physical gamepad to play the game. That was the only way I knew how to play the game. And I asked the TO, and he's like, oh no, you can't use that. I'm like, fuck, I guess I can't play.
Yeah. So
Damn
what did you do?
So I just didn't enter. And then Ultimate came out, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna enter. I have Joy-Cons. They said I could enter. It's me time. So I entered. I was the only kid using Joy-Cons there, and yeah, it's a great time. I learned a lot.
Love that.
Learned a lot.
That's an experience right there. So what characters were you playing when you first started playing Smash Ultimate, and what are you maining today?
So when I first started playing the game, I used to watch a content creator known as Kanjin, right? And he used to play DDD and Cloud and Little Mac, and I just kind of copied him. I was like, you know what, this character looks cool. He's making him look cool. So when I first started entering tournaments, I played a lot of DDD actually.
Nice.
King DDD and Little Mac. And then eventually, Joker came out. I started playing a lot of Joker. I didn't even know tier lists were a thing. I just had so much fun. I'm like, yeah, Joker's pretty good.
It's good.
I just happened to also be winning with him. Huh? It's kind of weird how that works.
Yeah.
So I started playing a lot more Joker. And then, yeah, I stuck with him for like a good 1 or 2 years. Then COVID hit. After COVID, I still played a little bit more Joker. And then eventually, after post-COVID, me and Riku would always play friendlies together back at my house, just because we'd always quarantine, so like we just hang out with each other. And I was having a lot of fun with Wolf. And eventually, I just entered a tournament with him, and I made top 8 for the first time.
For the first time
Yeah,
ever?
for the first time, yeah.
Damn.
And I remember Riku called me. He's like, "Yo, this is a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
You might have to stick with Wolf." And here we are. And ever since then, I've never let go.
Yeah, since then you've won mad local tournaments.
Oh, yeah.
Won mad monthly tournaments, PR like every season at this point.
Yeah.
I don't think I've known you non-PR since I've met you.
Damn, really?
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. There was a good point where I was so mad that I wasn't PR, because I would be beating all these people, and I'm like, damn, I guess I'm still not PR.
Yeah.
But eventually, I put the pieces together, and then yeah, I became who I am now.
That's cool. So right now you said Wolf, but you also play a bunch of Fox as well.
Yeah, I
Tell me
do.
about that.
What is it? Honestly, it's just been watching a lot of Light. Like, I would also play them on the side for fun, but I feel like I'm naturally an aggressive player. So Fox kind of just fit that for me for a little while. At some point, I just completely dropped Wolf and just played Fox for a couple months straight. And I actually got my first win back when Chunky Kong was still South Florida, I got my first win on him. My first 2 wins, actually, because he had always destroyed me in the DK matchup, but I beat him for the first time at Furia. And ever since then, I kind of had that same faith in Fox. Now it's like kind of balancing like 50-50 between the two, but more so Wolf, but I still like keeping the Fox in the back pocket.
Yeah, you haven't looked back since.
Of course.
Gotten a lot of good results. So with those being your favorite characters at the moment, what is your favorite move for each one?
Favorite move?
Favorite move and best move for each one.
Okay.
Maybe they're
yeah,
both
because
the
they
same.
definitely are different.
Yeah, maybe they're the same, maybe they're different, but let's hear your take on it.
So, if you don't already know me, if you haven't seen my play, I love Wolf Side V. I think it's such a flashy, cool move. I use it pretty unorthodoxly, but I think it's definitely my favorite move.
Yeah, a lot of the times off stage.
Yeah, I'll just do it for no reason. I just think it's so cool. And I think probably the best move is, like, in my opinion, back air. I know a lot of Wolves will say fair, but I think it's just such a fast kill move that, like, not that many characters really have, just something you could just spam that just kills you at like 80, So I think that's definitely his best move for Wolf. And then Fox, I think my favorite, I think it's kind of the same. I think my favorite move is probably Nair, which is also his best move, I think, because it's kind of just an all-encompassing combo tool you can just use whenever you want.
Yeah.
It's really fun to use. So yeah.
For anyone that may like play the same character and they're getting into it, they're trying to learn more, what advice would you have for them?
Anyone trying to get into the game?
Yeah. Like they're just starting to compete. They are 0-2 or 1-2ers, but they have a lot of motivation about the game and a lot to learn still. And maybe they know about you or watch your VODs or have seen your gameplay, but they look at others as well. What's some advice you would have for them?
Right. Well, first thing I like to say is, no one starts off like that good, obviously. When I first started entering tournaments, I was also an 0-2er for a long time, right? It took me a lot of time to actually pick up the game and learn all of its, like, the fundamentals and all the little things, right?
Yeah.
I say just, like, keep at it, keep on the grind, get your reps in. Eventually, pieces will come together, and just keep, honestly, just maintaining the mindset of being a student of the game. Because there's a lot of people who, like, get one win and they'll build an ego off of it. Ego is fine, but, like, if you let it control your judgment and just, like, completely, like, cloud your gameplay, like, you need to remember that there's still so much to learn. The best players in the game still learn. They still VOD review. There's still much to learn. So, just maintaining that student mindset and just always learning, always, like, thriving for knowledge is, like, what's going to take you places and what's actually going to make you improve. So that's my biggest advice, I'd say.
That's some great advice.
And this is coming from like years and years of just, hitting my head against the wall, being
Yeah,
like, nah.
you feel like you're like at a standstill.
Yeah.
Kind of have to break through that at some point.
I've plateaued so many times, but it really is just like keeping at it, keeping at the grind.
You think
and
it's more of a mental thing, or like?
It can be different for a lot of people. Everyone has different walls they face. So like, for me, for example, I'm over aggressive, right? So I'd like, if I'm losing to someone, I'd be like, oh, what can I do aggressive that would beat him, right? But sometimes the answer is just to keep it slow. Some people have the opposite.
Tone it back a little
Exactly,
bit.
yeah. Some people have an opposite problem where they're like, I'm keeping it too slow, but I'm not making any plays. You know what I mean? So it's different for everyone. You just need to have good self-reflection, really dissect yourself as a player and, really break down your problems and how to fix them.
So when you're playing against an opponent, especially someone that's really good at the game, someone that gives you, good competition, makes you work for it, do you think of it as more like you're playing against the person or the Mew? What's your take on that?
Well, it's definitely a little bit of both, but at some point in the game, there comes a point where like the matchup does matter and having knowledge of it is really important, but there comes a point where like you already know the matchup so well that it's just player versus player. Like if I were to play like Sonics right now, it'd be way different than if I played Wrath or Sonito, right? Because at that point, it's just completely different. At that point, it's completely different play styles, different players, different everything. So it's good to recognize that when you're getting to that point, I think.
Yeah, so it's really good to like know the character, understand the character and what they're capable of. But then when you're actually studying who you're playing against, like you really want to kind of look at what habits you're seeing out of them.
Yeah, of course. Because it's good to have a game plan. There's a lot of people who just play and don't have a game plan, but like having a game plan is only like the first step of actually playing against your opponent. Because you have the game plan for the matchup and then you have one for your opponent, and the game plan is just constantly changing as you play. So it's good to just,
Yeah, people are adapting.
Yeah, of course.
Mid-game or next set or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So
the game is so fast that like your mind just can't keep up. So you have to like kind of train yourself to play at that level. Like you train your mind to work that fast. But yeah, no, it's definitely a little bit of both, I think.
How do you train or how do you prepare yourself when you have big tournaments coming up?
Well, I think there's two aspects, at least when it comes to like esports in general, there's two aspects of like your potential that you need to tap into. So like just being warm in general, like keeping your fingers warm, just playing a lot, and also just keeping your mind warm. Like just playing, like watching Smash in of itself can be enough for a lot of people to just play well. Yeah. Like for example, Mutace, I know Mutace has like hand issues, right? So he's trained his mind well enough to where he can just watch people play and that's his warm up. Because he's training his mind to know what exactly the neutral is going to look like in certain matchups. So it's definitely, yeah, exactly. So it's definitely a little, I think in a perfect world, it's a little bit of both, but it's good to balance it for sure. So me personally, I like to like mix in, playing with friends, playing with top players, getting that practice in, and, just VOD reviews, getting as much practice as I can and just watching it.
Yeah. So how do you manage to balance like, obviously your pursuit to being a gamer and being a professional, but also like, training, but also focusing on yourself and your personal life and like having a social life and kind of all the things that encompass, like it takes a lot of sacrifice and time to kind of build your craft and your skill and where you are today. But how do you like balance like everything else going on in your life at the same time?
So I feel like there comes a point in time, right? And I noticed this after graduating high school, I had a lot of time on my hands to just do what I wanted to do on top of just already having time allotted for school. But I think at some point you kind of have to like, I think school in of itself gives you structure, but you kind of have to plan out your days. So like, for example, Amsa has a full-time job in Japan, is still able to play at a top level. Yeah. He released his schedule and he literally has like an event planned out for like every hour of his day. And I think that's what you need to do if you do want to balance your time. Because, you can't really if you have so much stuff that you want to work on, you have to be able to allot each like time to each thing and like not just like do it, but have your mind present when you do it, right?
Being productive.
Exactly, yeah, just being productive, right? So like, you're not gonna go home and just scroll on TikTok.
Yeah, and being efficient as well.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Just making the most out of the time that you do have in of itself is like perfect, because there's a lot of people who have that time to like, you know, grind out a game, but they won't use that time wisely.
Yeah, or
you know
to
what I
get
mean?
better at something, or
Yeah, exactly.
whatever
Like,
it is.
you could play Smash for 6 hours, but if your practice of playing Smash is just going online playing scrubs and, you know, just like trolling, and like you're like listening to music in the background, you're not even listening to the game sound, like stuff like that, like it's not really, obviously you're keeping your hand warm, but you're not really learning
Yeah,
anything,
you're not
right?
taking it serious.
Exactly, yeah. So just taking those steps that like every time you do the thing that you want to do or something you care about, you like are as efficient as you can be in that aspect, I think is what really leads to like good balance of everything.
That's great advice, bro.
Yeah, I
Great
mean,
advice.
that's what I've been doing, at least. I've been trying my best to plan out my days. But
Yeah, and I've seen you like little by little, like doing more and being more productive in your game, which is
yeah,
love to see it, bro.
appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Tell me who your favorite player is, or is there a competitor that you've looked up to for a while, both like in the overall game that you play, but maybe also locally as well?
Okay. Well, I'll say overall, as I mentioned earlier, Zachary versus Light, one of my favorites. The first ever set I ever saw of competitive Smash. And I think ever since then, I've been a Zachary fan
Nice.
forever.
Dope.
Like,
'Cause I thought you were gonna say Mango or something.
that comes after, but
Yeah, I was talking about it with CJ earlier. I was like, he's probably gonna say Mango.
yeah. Well, I discovered Mango like a couple years after, but like Zachary was definitely like the thing that like, he was the person that really ignited that fire in me to play Smash. You know, 16-year-old being like at the top level, you know, me being 16 looking at that, I'm like, you know, maybe that could be me one day.
Yeah.
So I definitely I love seeing him play. I know he's not entering as much anymore, but you know, anytime I get the chance to watch him, I'm always excited. And I think later on, another player that did inspire me is definitely Manga. You know, like
Mango? Yeah.
just like
That
you know,
over aggression.
his play style, the way he like captivates the crowd whenever he plays. You know, he has this effect on the crowd where, you know, people will just watch him and be like, oh, did you see that sick thing Mango did? You know, and you know, I want to have that effect on people. You know, I want to kind of be that, I guess, that star of the game.
Yeah.
But obviously that takes time. And I think locally, someone that I also looked up to a lot is definitely Anathema, because he's someone that like I play and like I don't have to know anything about him to know that he grinds the game so hard. Like just playing him, I could see all the work he puts in to every little interaction he does.
Yeah.
And it's always like my mind is always blown every time I play him. Like I feel like I just play a new game every time. So it's always, it's very sad to see that he's quitting, but he's still an inspiration to me, and I think everyone in SFO in general is just inspirational.
Yeah,
player
well,
for
he's
sure.
retiring, so maybe he'll be back.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Maybe he'll surprise
Definitely.
the scene, come back.
I would wish he'd come back, but
Unless there's a new Smash announcement soon, but who knows?
Ooh.
Who knows?
I don't know about that. But.
So I guess this question kind of leads into a couple of things that you mentioned is what are your kind of goals as a competitor, or what are your own personal goals that, you know, it might take time, but you've kind of envisioned?
I'd say definitely, like, I definitely want to be a top player more than anything, right? I've been putting in the time, the hours, I've been getting so much advice to everybody.
Yeah.
That's like mainly my main goal. And, you know, I have like more specific goals, like, but I think that's, at least for now, that's been like my long time goal for like years now. So I think I'm slowly getting there, but you know, it's still gonna take a little bit more, you know, more work, more grind.
So what do you define as a top player?
What do I define? I think as a top player, like consistently top 8ing, consistently. I don't think you have to be. I mean, I would like to win a major personally, but that is the end goal. But I think just making top 8s, getting good wins,
So like
consistency.
Top 10 NA?
Top 10, yeah. Top 10 anyway.
I know a lot of people, like, their first goal is probably top 100 or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that's where Smash really starts ranking players. Are there rankings past 100, or people really just focus
the official one stops at 100, but there are unofficial ones that kind of like still have data behind it and still show. But I think if I were to put a number on it, end goal, I would want to be at least top 10.
Top 10.
Like not even NA, just worldwide. I'm trying to be that guy.
Not even NA.
I'm trying to be that guy.
I love you, and I hope we can see that happen.
Of course.
And we'll be there to support you as much as we can throughout that process. You
I
know?
appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys.
Whatever it takes, we'll push you to the limit and past it. So I guess just transitioning from Smash to, you know, you're in Miami now. You've been here for a bit. You've been enjoying it. What is we got this question on Twitter from DGK, the GOAT.
Oh no.
What is your favorite croqueta spot in Miami? This is really important because depending on your answer, you may or may not get a visit from CJ in a couple minutes.
I see him in the background too. It's hard. I don't eat out that much, man. I'm gonna be honest. Pollo tropical.
Pollo tropical. Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
No, those are your favorite croquetas? Yeah, we're about to hit a croqueta world tour.
Dude, I'm down, man. You guys gotta like
and get a tier list, bro.
I don't eat out that much, man. I'm gonna be honest. I eat at home.
We got some work to do in that department, CJ. Croqueta world tour. Make the shirts. Make the shirts. All right. I mean, that pretty much wraps it up. You know, you've given us some great feedback, and I hope that the people watching this can, you know, take something from it and kind of pull it into their own personal lives or their game. And I'm sure there's a lot that they can get from there. So I'll end it on one last thing. You just came back from Evo, not Evo, you came back from CEO.
Yeah.
What was your biggest takeaway from the event?
I think, well, I did get to play a lot of players at the event. I think one of my biggest takeaways is probably just, there's so many matchups in the game that I have to learn. There's still so much I have to learn as a player.
What, 80 characters?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So I have so many more people to play, so many more characters to grind out, so many more matchups. And I think if I just grind out those matchups, get everything written down, I gotta take more notes too. I think if I just take more notes and study more, I'll just be a way better player than I would be next time.
And keep playing, you know, the best people.
Oh, of course, yeah.
You know, people mainly learn from their losses at the end of the day. Like, you can win, but how much do you learn from winning? You know what I mean? Like, you already beat everyone that was in your way, and it's really those losses that kind of give that clarity to people when they sit down and watch like what's going wrong, of what they can improve on.
Yeah.
I mean, even when you win, there's always something that you can improve on, but it's just a lot more evident when you get those losses, you know? And it's what you do with those losses and what you learn from it that's ultimately going to shape you into kind of that person that you want to be. And no, I'm super happy to have you part of the team, bro. Can't wait to see where you go.
Appreciate it, man. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. If you want to, you know, say anything else to the fans or to the camera or shout out anyone, this would be the time to do it.
First of all, shout out mom and dad. Shout out Daisy. I want to say to all of those still, you know, trying to grind the game and feel like they can't do it, I promise it's a process. It's all part of the process. You just got to trust the process, keep getting your reps in, and I promise you'll see results soon. Just keep at it. You have my seal of approval.
Stamped. Thank you, Kevin.
Of course.
All right, guys, we'll be getting the next guest. So
Deuces,
be right
guys.
back. Paladin coming up next.